Hello and welcome to this Exmoor Trim fitting video. Today we're going to show you how to fit our new heavy duty bar set and canvas hood kit. So this kit comes complete with everything you need to convert the vehicle as you see it here. So you'll have the heavy duty bar set complete with the over door and side door drain channels, screen rail, all the rope cleats and hooks you need to fit along the side of the vehicle, and of course the hood itself. So we've broken this video up into two parts. So in the first part, we'll go through the installation of the bars and the drain channels. And then in the second video, we'll take you through fitting and tensioning the hood. So before going ahead and fitting the hood and bar set, one important consideration is what you're going to do with your rear door. If you're converting a hardtop, obviously you'll have a full height rear door. So you'll need to swap that for a half door. Either a half door swing away or a drop down tailgate. These are readily available on the aftermarket, and we'd recommend getting a good quality one and getting that sourced before you fit bar set. If you already have a soft top, chances are you probably got everything in place that you already need. So we'll start by going through the components of the bar set. So when you unpack the bar set, in the kit you'll have the two main hoops. So you've got the single hoop, which is the rear one, a double hoop, which is the front hoop, two tie bars. These are both handed, so you have a left hand and a right hand tie bar. There's the intermediate interim hoop that ties the two tie bars together. And then for the front of the vehicle, you have the two over door drain channels, two side door drain channels, and your over screen rail. The other thing you'll have in the bar set is the fitting kit, and you should have everything you need here to assemble and fit the actual bars to the vehicle. So you have all your rope hooks for the rear, side of body, and rope cleats. Your vehicle may already have these fitted, so you may not need all of them. The other things you'll have are a series of bolts, and these are for assembling the bar set. And then the last thing you'll have in the kit is 6 of these little plastic hooks, and these go into your over door drain channel for securing the front end of the hood. Okay, so the first step in fitting the bar set is to fit the front hoops. So that's the double hoop, and it mounts with these tabs here pointing towards the front of the vehicle. So it's recommended you have at least 2 people to give you a hand with this, as it's quite heavy, and obviously you don't want to drop it on the vehicle. So carefully lift it up and over, and it sits on top of the capping, and the front leg locates on this lug on the capping. So it should sit securely in place. Once you've got it there, your capping may already have holes pre-drilled in it. In some cases, you'll have to actually mark and drill through. So you'll be wanting to drill an 8.5 to 9mm hole here, clearance for the M8 bolts. And there'll be one at the front, one at the rear, and the same on the other side. So once you've got your holes marked and drilled, you can then bolt down with the M8 by 30s. So the small washer goes on top. Bolt push down through the capping, and then there's a thicker spacer washer which goes underneath the capping. And then hold all that in place with your nylock nut and tighten it all up with 13mm spanners. We'd recommend just loosely fitting everything first, and then once you've got it in position, going around and torquing all the bolts up. So once you've got the front hoop bolted down, the next part to put on is the rear hoop. And the tabs on the sides, they go pointing towards the front of the vehicle. So again, probably better with 2 people just to lift this one up. And it just sits down on top of the lugs at the rear corners of the vehicle. Okay, so we'd recommend at least one person just keeping a hold of it, stop it tipping over. And you'll find 2 holes on each corner bracket. You may or may not have to drill out your body capping to suit. The holes are designed to line up with the pre-marked holes in the capping. So depending on the age of the vehicle, the holes may be there, but you may have to drill them through. So again, held in place with the M8 by 30s. So the thin washer on the top, and then the thick washer and the nylon nut from the other side. So again, just tighten up with the 13mm socket and spanner. It is also worth noting, depending on the age of the vehicle, you may have a plastic cover in the rear quarter here. It could be a speaker pod or just a light cover. You may have to remove that in order to be able to get to the bolt underneath the body capping. The next part of the fit then is the horizontal tie bars. Now you'll see that these are handed, and what hands them is the cup in the middle and the part on the end. So this part points upwards, and then if we offer this one up on the vehicle, you'll see so the bar on the goes on the inside of the front hoop and meets up with the bracket on the rear of the pair of front hoops. So again, this gets bolted in place with the M8 by 30s. So the hex bolt goes from the outside with a washer, and then another washer on the inside with the M8 nylon nut. So in the first instance, just fit everything loosely. You'll notice that the slots in the bar set give you a little bit of adjustment, just so you can get everything aligned correctly front to rear. Okay, so once you've got one tie bar loosely bolted in place, we'll then fit the opposite hand one on the other side. So again, the cup pointing towards the top, and then the tab on the end goes to the front of the vehicle and sits on the inside of the hoop. Again, with your M8 by 30s with a washer on the outside, hex bolt goes from the outside of the vehicle to the inside, and then a washer and nylon nut on the inside. Okay, so we've now loosely fitted both tie bars, and the next thing we'll do is position the interim hoop that joins the two together. So that's this long curved bar with the tab on either end. So if you lift that one up into place, I'll just sit in the little cups on the horizontal tie bars. And again, using the M8 by 25 bolts this time, with a washer on the outside and a washer and a nylon nut on the inside. You can get this loosely bolted up into place as well. So once you've got the interim hoop loosely bolted into place, the order of tightening up things is to tighten the two bolts on the interim hoop first. Tighten it from both sides. So once you've tightened up the intermediate hoop, you can then tighten either end of the horizontal tie bars. So once you've finished bolting down the bar set, next thing to do is to fit the screen rail. This vehicle's already actually got it fitted, but one important thing to note is if you're converting an older vehicle that was previously a soft top, you might have what we call a pre-2000 screen rail, which looks slightly different to this in that it has a cutout underneath and the hood tucks up underneath it to clamp it down. If you have that screen rail, you'll need to swap it out for this, which is called TD5 screen rail. and that's the one with the slot in the front. And the slot's there to receive the plastic edging on the front edge of the hood. So the screen rail sits directly on top of the screen and is bolted into place with 4 M6 screws, washers and nylock nuts. Now we would recommend putting either some silicone sealer or some gasket sealer along the front edge, just to stop any wind or water seeping into the vehicle. And it's important to make sure that you get the front edge lined up perfectly with the front edge of the screen, so it's a nice flush fit across here. Okay, so before we fit the over-door drain channels to the side of the vehicle, you want to fit the little plastic clips. They go from the inside, which if you look at it end on, is so the curve goes to the outside. So from the inside, push the hook through, so the hook's pointing towards the top edge of the drain channel. So one thing to make note of, if you're converting a hard top or just replacing your soft top, if you've already got full door seals running all the way around, you can leave those in place. All you'll need to do is just pull them down from either the roof edge or the seals that you've got there now, and we'll refit those once we've got the over door and side of door drain channel in place. So first thing is to put the over doors on, and bear in mind these are handed for left and right. So the rear lines up with the top vertical slot on the hoop, and the front sits inside the channel of the screen rail. You'll see there's a slot in the front that lines up with a hole in the side of the windscreen. So it's held in place with M6 by 20mm bolts. So you push the bolts in from the outside with a washer. And again, I would suggest just fitting everything loosely before we tighten it all up, because you want to adjust these and make sure that you've got them square to the top of the door. So once you've got the over door in place, you can offer up the side of door drain channel, and these go with the slot facing towards the rear of the vehicle, and the little tab that's on the diagonal is the bottom end. So you want to drop one of the M6 bolts through the slot on the inside of the channel, and then offer that up into the horizontal slot on the top tab. And then again with a washer and a nylock nut on the inside, just loosely hold that in place. Okay. And then about a third of the way up, you'll find there's another slot inside the channel. So you just drop the other M6 bolt through there. And then that goes through the tab on the front hoop. And a washer and a nylock nut on the inner edge. Okay, so again, we're just going to loosely position these, and then we'll carefully close the door. As you'll see at the moment, the gaps are a bit uneven around the edge. So what we need to do is use the adjustment in the slots to position these to get a nice even gap from the lower half of the door that runs all the way up to the top, and then across the top to the windscreen. Okay, so once you've tightened up the over door and side of door, just double check that you've got a nice even gap running up the side of the door and across the top. Now, if you've got full door seals, they will then clip back onto this return lip on the bottom side. See, these ones have been cut down, but you'll see they just literally just push on all the way around, so you get a nice snug fit all the way around the side of the door. And just carefully close your door to double check that everything is sitting in the right position. Okay, so that's basically the bar set fitted. Last couple of bits we'll look at before we go onto the hood are the side of body rope hooks. We have actually just fitted these with self-tapping screws, as we tend to take them on and off of this vehicle, but ordinarily you would rivet these on. These are included in your kit if you need them. Some of the earlier vehicles, or if you've got a soft top already, you'll already have this in place, so you don't need to worry about it. but it literally just sits at the end of the body capping, just a few millimeters in or from the edge of the door shut, with the wire hook pointing downwards. And you'll find there's 2 of these in the kit, and they are actually handed for left and right hand side of the vehicle. And then the other one is the U-shaped rope hook, which goes on the rear. Again, you may have these fitted, and they sit just inside the finishing strips on the rear quarter, and you'll fit them with 2 4mm rivets that will be in the kit. So one on this side, and then the same again in the other rear corner. So what we'll do now in the second video, we'll fit the hood to the vehicle, and we'll show you how to position the side of body rope hooks once we've got the hood basically put in position.